Na? Nächste Sange.
We have been used to meet each other every year almost to present things on advertising. As a matter of fact, as you all know, last year I told you that maybe that would be the last year when I present something that relates to communication. And I told you at the time that Shara Mozannar was going to take over, and I'm so happy that Shara took over so brilliantly. Shara is now the Chief Creative Officer of the company, and I think that yesterday's result were really telling you how good he is in doing it. Now, but what I want to tell you is that there is life after life. So, when I stopped having the responsibility of taking care of creativity, I had some time, and with the Burnett, I decided to go into what I would say the mother of all CSR, i.e. trying to give Lebanon a better outlook for the future. So it's all about that. And when you talk about how to make it, as you maybe know about us as the Burnett, we are aiming to try to create communications that change the way people think, feel, and behave. And the bigger thing that we are trying to do now is to try, in a way, to let the Lebanese people change the way they think, feel, and behave. Huge question, big thing, how do we do it? You have lived these 2 days the new way to communicate. We are talking a lot about content, and we talk a lot about participation. If you want to succeed in the era of social media, you need to create content and you need to create participation. Obviously, content will work if you have a big idea, and participation will work if you really do something about letting people participate. So in order to create content and participation for the Lebanese to think, feel, and behave differently, my tentative was what you are seeing in front of you, which is Paris pour une conscience nationale, a bet for national conscience, and Rihan ala damir watan. What is it? Simply, this is a book. For those who do not know it, it's a book that I wrote with the help of my overnet people. I wrote the book and put it online in order to trigger participation. The book allows you to comment. I will show you the comment. Put in 3 languages because I want to really be as associative as I can, talking to the 3 cultures of the country. And very quickly, I want to show you, before I talk about the idea of the book, I want to show you how it works. So this is the French version. You look down, you have until this morning 2,990 visits. When you click at comments, this is some samples of comments that I'm getting. For those who speak French, pas d'accord sur un seul point, professionnalisme et non les partis qui est de très loin d'obstacles majeurs, etc., etc. I can share these things with you later. Then, as you see here, you have a lot of comments coming in, coming from people who opened, read, and found that there was something interesting to talk about. So, essentially, participation. If I go to the English version, so the English version, until today we have 2,363 visits, some comments. Why address the book to 2 people when it should be dedicated to all Lebanese? Another one, I saw you on Hadith al-Balad, I read part of your book, I support your book, After you mentioned that we should have a TV station, radio, dedicated media, and so on and so forth, why is it that the people who can make a difference are not being considered in this great scheme? I can carry on and on and on, and you will see more. That was the one that was in the beginning. Why I read the book to two people, and the answer, so what I do is to answer. You are completely right, it will be to Daniel, and the children of Lebanon. Thank you so much for this first input. So, okay, I'm not going to lose time here to talk about what is the thing, but what I did was, when I edited the book in print, I put most of the comments at the end of the book. Now, whenever you want, you can open the book and you can start running around all the comments, which will give you an idea of how people are participating in the thing. Now, let's come back to the basics. What is this book about? Pino. As you have learned, the book is about trying to find a tentative to create a national conscience. In other words, it's about trying to be the masters of our future. We are all, most of us are Lebanese here. I don't know if everyone, I don't know how many foreigners are with us, but when it comes to our country, this is where we are. We do know that the future is not very promising. Many people think that the future is bleak. And one way to think about the future is eventually how can we build a sort of national conscience. When I talk about national conscience, I'm not talking about a March 14 national conscience or March 8 national conscience. I'm talking about one sort of national conscience that can be totally federative. Is it achievable? We all know that we are facing deadlocks. We all know that this country is totally unmanageable politically. We all know that many people have tried for 65 years, and there is nothing promising in view. So what we think could work is economy. But when you look at economy, maybe economy is the beginning of a new national language. But when you know what happens in economy, you might see that economy can also be politicized. So what I think of in the book, what the book develops, is the idea of federative economy. What is federative economy? This is a mission statement written in the book. Building a true national conscience through the sustainable development of a national economy whose true potential is yet to be exploited. This development is promoted by a civic and apolitical group of influencers nurtured by the participative action of the Lebanese people in their diversity. Big dream, big goal, achievable, I don't know. A plan that mobilizes all the Lebanese citizens by creating equitable returns across the whole Lebanese territory. Keywords are mobilization, federative influence, dynamization of national economy. This describes to you what I believe is federative economy. It's an economy that applies to all Lebanese regions simultaneously, a plan that is realistic, affordable, and make economic sense. Heavily mediatized, we are all in media and you know what we mean by that. Encourage citizens to contribute to the investment so they can reap the benefits. Backed by a wide range of influencers, faithful to the political nature of the initiative, there is no doubt that this plan can only emanate from the civil society. We are living a civic society, but we are all a bunch of entrepreneurs. We are 4 million Lebanese, and we have 4 million republic. Each one of us is a republic. So, it's very difficult to federate the people. In a way, if we think about how to federate the people, federative economy can be one, provided it calls for state and citizen partnership. Today, when the project comes, citizens are not concerned. They don't care. It's only the politicians and the clientele of the politician that start the project and that take it to their thing. And we do know that for 65 years, nothing has ever happened. The model of partnership state-citizen is more and more a new model. When you talk about Lebanon today, you have a lot of buzz about privatization. So I'm not telling you something new. I'm talking about something that is already in the mind of people. But what I'm talking about is we can do something about privatization so that it can involve the government and the people of Lebanon in one building goal that can be better for all Lebanese. Most important, the book calls for independent management. If you have a plan where you want to have partnership between government and citizen, and if you give it to a ministry, you kiss it goodbye. Because when the government changes, so does the program stops and it's dead. You know that for 65 years we have never been able to really have something achieved in a very good way, and it's not possible. So one big goal of the book is to try to really sell independent management with participation of the government and the people. And as an example of the most aggressive and convincing federative plan for federative economy is Lebanese water. Why Lebanese water? Lebanese water is everywhere. Nobody can claim that water is my territory. When you talk about gas, for instance, gas is in the sea. So immediately, there is no limitation for the sea, so everyone decided that it's mine. Already some people said, we have to defend gas from the enemy. So I'm going to be the defendant, so I'm going to protect the border, the sea border of Lebanon. So already it started getting politicized. But when you talk about water, fortunately, water is all over Lebanon. 15 rivers coming from the mount, from north to south. And because the people who found a refuge in Lebanon wanted water, it happened that when you look at the Lebanese hydraulic map, it draws all the lines, tendencies, communities, confessions of Lebanon. So when you talk about water as one project, it talks to everybody. And nobody can claim like Beirut is for Solidar or the Southeast. Water is for the Lebanese. So it helps a lot to try to build on it. But to make it happen, it doesn't take only a program for water. It takes a big thing. This is a national project and should be done like a 5-year plan. You remember at the time of Roosevelt, when America was in a deep depression, he created the New Deal. And the New Deal got all the Americans to contribute to a project. So when we talk about a 5-year plan, it's a plan that really talks to every Lebanese as one. And what is very interesting, if you want to move Lebanese, you cannot talk to them about values, about culture, because everyone has got their own culture. The only value that can trigger Lebanese to act is money. So in the plan that is envisaged for this venture, the plan can create an extra, a surplus of 2 billion cubic meter of water, which are worth in 1992 cost price $5 billion. Today's money talks about $10 billion. Every year, renewable, sustainable, every year. If you talk about $10 billion, you talk about $5 billion for the state, because remember, partnership, and $5 billion for the people. It talks about wiping out the national debt in 10 years' time, and it talks about pouring $5 billion to the Lebanese people on a yearly basis to become better, to become richer, and to grow. It talks about business opportunities for the Lebanese. Have you ever heard a minister caring about creating jobs, for instance? So just to give you an idea.